ready?
Yeah.
Are you watching my Discord stream?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, that's pretty shit quality. Interesting.
It's shit quality?
It's like really pixelated.
Alright, looks like you're gonna have to watch my Twitch stream on a 3-second delay.
Nah, I think I can deal with this.
Okay, here, let's watch this again. Gotta see what Ben Yang's doing here. He sees a Lux walk at him, he walks into this bush and then charges his Q. Now, why would he do that? Only God knows. Wait, let me turn off the fucking music. Okay. Standard. Okay, we're gonna... How do I do this? I'm gonna put it on you. Okay, first, we already made a mistake.
Oh wait, I can't see it. I can't see it.
You can't see?
It's not loaded yet for me.
What the fuck?
Okay, we're good. We're good.
Okay, so you placed a ward here. Why did you place a ward here?
So that we would know if they were coming.
But they're gonna come. They have the lane.
Yeah, I know. That was a
Okay,
stupid
so
word.
basically, the point is, this is a for fun ward.
Okay.
It doesn't actually accomplish anything. So now you just lost a ward you could have used something else.
Okay. I'm always scared that they're hiding in that bush, so even if we like start guessing.
But you walk this way, right? There's no way they can hit you if you're over here. And if you just stand like here, they're so far away, there's no way they can like surprise you. They can't flash out of the bush and like do anything. It's so far.
True.
And if they walk up here, you can just you know exactly where they are. Let me watch this back. I fucked it. How do I turn off directed camera? Oh, manual camera. There you go. Okay. Right here. As you can see, well, I guess this is not exactly the right spot. So right here, probably better. You look at where you're standing and where BB-sama is standing and where these two guys are standing. They're standing in like kind of a line, like a line of scrimmage right here. Mm-hmm. Whereas your BB-sama has a line here, and then your line is back here.
Okay.
So if either one of these guys attacks BB-sama, you are in no position to help her. Let's just see what happens. So they both walk up at the same time, and now they're both in range to attack her, whereas you're still stuck back here with no way to help her. So then, I mean, you walk up at the end and then get a Q off, but the trade is already lost at this point.
Okay.
So what you need to do is do what these two guys are doing, which is stand in a line, sort of. And then if say Ezreal walks up, you'll be right in position to respond with a trade.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay.
I think I was more scared of like the range of Lux's E.
Well, like, let's go back again then. Let's go back to the beginning. So right here, Lux E's you, right? And then you start just running away. But guess what? Her E's on cooldown for another 9 seconds right now. So there's nothing she can do to you for 9 seconds.
Okay.
Which is why you and this is the wrong time to be walking back, because she doesn't have a CD.
Okay.
And in fact, your Q okay, never mind. Wait, what? Yeah, your Q is already back up. It's 7 seconds. For hers is 10 seconds.
Yeah. Alright. Noted.
And even if she lands an E on you, like, look at her E. She did, like, 50 damage to you. Like, that's not gonna matter. You're bad, don't VOD review. Thank you. I can VOD review for bronze people, at least. No! Fuck you. This, wasn't really your fault. You don't have a... I have a license. I got it from the dealership. It's not really your fault. That's just BB-sama disrespecting their level 2. You did the correct thing, which is back off. Then she just died because she didn't back off. Also, let me go back for a second. For the early lane, usually in bot lane, what you want to do is you want to get level 2 first. Because when you get level 2, you get twice the amount of abilities that your opponent has if they're still level 1. You'll have double the amount of abilities, which is really strong. So, instead of being black here, you need to be autoing the minions and helping BB-sama auto the minions so that you can get level 2 faster. Because once you kill... I don't know if you know this, but once you kill these 3 melee minions, you'll hit level 2. Oh, also like this caster. Once you hit 9, once you kill, like, the first wave is 6 minions, and then the next 3 melee minions... 7 minions? What are you talking about? Oh, look, my timer's working. Nice. You idiot. 4 melee and 3 casters? What are you talking about? It's these 3. Oh, I'm retarded. Never mind. Okay, anyways. You basically want to hit level 2 first. You don't need to actually, like, just push. But now, since you guys got pushed off... like, no one's... Since... Okay, you got pushed off. Now you can't get level 2. So at this point, you just have... Okay, so they hit level 2 right here. You just have to run away, because there's nothing you can do. They're going to beat you if they fight you.
Okay.
Actually, BB-sama almost killed this guy. So, like... Let me see this, actually. This is actually, like, kind of... This guy's kind of low-ish. Yeah, look, he gets tagged by a little bit more. If you flash Q auto ignite, you would kill her. And then you could walk away, most likely. But that's, Oh, she doesn't have Q? Flash auto ignite would probably kill her too, anyway. But it depends. You don't... That's not necessarily, like, something you should be looking at until, like, later. Right now, you should just be thinking, okay, they hit level 2. Let's just back off, play safe.
Okay.
Okay, wait. Here...
Was it bad to Q?
Yeah, because now you just took CS from your ADC.
Okay.
And you mess up these minions for her to see us under the turret. So you should just last hit under turret as best as you can.
Okay.
Instead of pushing it or using any abilities, just auto attack. This is actually pretty good because they could be... I mean, it's a small chance, but they could... Checking bushes with their abilities actually very good and useful because it's free. It costs you like what the mana cost of your ability, and then the reward is either nothing or you don't die to them cheesing you. Well, I need to turn off my timer. My timer's saying "bro" every 1 minute because I was testing it. Yeah, I think it should be off now. Use bronze iron logic. I don't know what bronze iron logic is. It's good because it allows you to get free vision and make decision whether they can back or stay. Yeah, that's yeah. So now you know you pretty much know that they back, right? Yeah. So now what you want to do? Right now you're not helping BB-sama push, but you want to shove this wave in so that you can back.
And then when we get back,
too advanced? How is this too advanced? This is not too advanced.
I don't understand wave management as a support. I don't know when to push and when not to.
Okay, so basically, if let's say you don't push this wave, right? Yeah. And it's gonna slow push into the turret because you have more minions on your side. Mm-hmm. But then it actually won't reach the turret. It'll be like here in the next wave. See, this wave's already walking up. If you don't fast push this, then the minions are gonna like hit each other around this point. So what happens then is that they can freeze at this location, and you guys will have to stand like here to CS the minions, whereas they'll be sitting under the turret, so they're super safe. And they've already got a back off, and you haven't got a back off. So you have to stay in order to help your Jhin CS up here, because if you don't stay, Jhin is going to get 1v2'd and going to get zoned out of the CS. Okay. And they're going to keep freezing it there. So they can do this infinitely if they wanted to. But if you do stay, they've got a back, but you don't have a back. So now you're at a disadvantage because they're stronger. They have more items. You're speaking Chinese. Yeah, do you understand that?
Yeah, I got it.
Let's see what happens. So right now, like, you should have probably like just queued these 3 casters or something to help push. It wouldn't have taken a single CS, and Jhin can just like queue them and then probably like kill all of them, and it would be pretty fast.
Okay, I think like the main reason I abstain from auto attacking is because I don't want like to cause my ADC to miss CS because like they miscalculated or whatever.
I mean, as long as you don't kill the minion or like make the minion like this much HP, it doesn't matter. It's not your fault. Like, so what you want to do is you want to make the minions like about half HP. So then they'll have time to react to like, because the minions usually target one minion at a time, so each one will go down equally. If you make them all at like 1 HP, then they might all die at the same time.
Okay.
So let's see what they do here. Right here, they could set up a freeze extremely easily. Let's see if they actually do it. No, they don't. They fuck it up. So basically, you weren't... So basically, to set up a freeze, you need at least 4 caster minions. And they only have 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't punish you here, but it's still not that good because you haven't backed, but it's gonna slow push you, right? Because now, what do you mean it's too advanced? Tell me if you don't understand anything. Like,
no, I got you. I've watched like 1 video on wave management, but I have no idea how to apply it.
So this is like, since they didn't freeze, you didn't get punished really, because it's gonna slow push back towards you. So how do you know when a wave is gonna slow push? Well, it depends on the size of the minion wave and then also the location of the minion wave. Right now, the minion wave is on your opponent's side, which means their minions are gonna get to their side, this like the battleground faster than your minions are. There's more distance to travel here. So what that means is they're gonna get their reinforcements earlier, which means they're gonna build up a huge wave here, and then slow push. So that's how you figure out if it's slow pushing. And now it's gonna slow push. So then you could theoretically back here, because your ADC will it'll be pushing towards your ADC, and they won't be able to freeze it over here. So eventually it will come back over here, and they'll be safe to farm. But like I said before, if you had pushed the wave into the turret, like all the way in, the lane would have reset back at like in the middle. Then you could have backed like after you pushed, and then by the time you walk back, they can't push the minions into your turret fast enough, and then you'll be able to catch the XP that comes here, and your ADC can just chill and like stand back here and just wait for them to push.
Okay.
So yeah. Let me look at that again. Like say I mean, this is like common, but like you don't want to be standing
so if she
behind your ADC.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to be standing like this, like right now, in like a parallel line.
Okay.
So as soon as you move here, right, now their distance is like this, and then your distance is like a bit longer. So they can 2v1 her. Luckily, Lux misses her binding, but if she had hit that binding, it's pretty much doomed. You would have probably lost a lot of HP. Probably not died, but... So right here...
I don't think I knew they had a ward there still. But...
No, they wouldn't win 2v2 because her positioning was already back here. They would have bursted her. And they don't have to commit. They can just, you know, take a good trade. Can you coach Gavin next? I'm literally... You just said I don't deserve to have a coach lesson. I don't have a coaching license, so I can't coach. Yeah, this is all fine. So like, basically, one small mistake that you did, which is not help push the wave. Now, we press tab, you're still haven't back yet, right? Where they have a back. So now you're always going to be on the back foot in this lane because they have a couple more items than you. And that's just the consequence of one like small thing.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, you can't do anything about that. BB Summon just died. Yeah, that was good. See, look, that was like one of the few times you actually walked up and tried to trade. As Zyra, your trades are really good, especially when you have a W, because then you can just Q W, and then a plant will spawn, and it'll be like a 3v4. I mean, 3v2.
Yeah.
So you want to do that more like Lux can E you once, right? He's gonna do like 100 damage at most, but you're gonna do a lot of damage back, especially if she can bind you, then you can root her as well. So it's more of a like you have to trust in your mechanics and like you don't have to actually be good, but if you have to keep putting yourself in situations where you are practicing those like skill shots and whatever. I mean, this minion wave, like, Jin was probably not gonna reach it, so you can like just clear it, which is fine. Yeah, this is a good back because, well, this is dependent on your ADC. Your ADC has to play like safe enough, because they could theoretically sit in this bush and just like wait for them. But what do you buy?
I think I bought boots.
How the hell did I check the gold?
AP. I don't think you can check the gold.
Oh, there's a way. I'm pressing every button. Oh shit. There you go. I pressed it's X. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Back. Fuck. You had 1,000 gold, which is,
yeah. I think that was my first back too.
And you're trying to buy Leandry's, I assume?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was Leandry's.
I mean, a thing to keep in mind is you don't want to waste time just shopping, right?
Yeah.
And this is fine. I would probably not, personally, I would probably not buy a Sapphire Crystal and probably buy Control Ward / refillable potion.
Okay.
Like, the Mana Crystal doesn't actually give you any combat stats.
Yeah.
Which is why mana is kind of a shit item. But so this is basically on that. The refillable potion gives you essentially 300 HP over the course of a fight if you pop it, and then the control ward will help stop ganks. Whereas your mana crystal is not going to do either of those two things. It's just going to let you spam your abilities like a couple more times. That was good. I mean, you were watching your map and then saw that the jungler was taking dragon, so that you could help him for that a little bit. And there's no cost to you, right, for that, because there's nothing going on bot. But this is a position where, I mean, actually, this part's fine. So did you ward this? Yeah, you ward this, right? Oh. Okay, that was good. So here, right here.
Should I have followed Fizz or?
No, this is fine. You could have followed Fizz, and that would have also been a good play because your ADC is in a 1v1 because Lux is dead, so you can afford to leave the lane and start roaming. Because if he dies 1v1, then it's not your fault, right?
Yeah.
So if you were roam mid, you would have made this fight a 3v2, and then it would have been easily won.
I don't have ulti though.
Well, it doesn't. Well, you have ignite. You have your abilities. As long as there's and you have like another big factor is that your health bar is a combat asset. If you're at full HP, you can afford to tank up until you're 1 HP.
Okay.
So if you tank that much damage, that's more health that one of either Fizz or Graves would have as well. And even if you died, but you got a double kill, you would have gotten the XP, the champion XP for killing them, and the assist gold. And so you wouldn't even be that far behind XP. The only problem is your ADC would be like left by themselves for a little bit, but like they could back and reset with you essentially with your back. As like you dying is kind of like a reset. So and Jin is pushing in the wave, so they should be able to push the wave in and hopefully get a free back. So basically, yeah, looking for more roams is definitely a thing to consider. But this was also in terms since you decided to go bot, this is where you have to use now this is the 2v1, right? Instead of this is just a 2v2. So now you got to utilize that window of opportunity. And let me just go back. So like right here. Wait, does this connect? Oh no, it doesn't connect. But go back a little bit actually. So you decide instead of following Fizz, I'm gonna go back bot. In fact, you could have actually walked through Tribush.
Yeah.
And just ganked him. You could have ganked like your own lane.
Vision cone thing. So
the vision cone only gives vision for a very brief amount of time. It's like 5 seconds at most. And then once you're in fog of war, they won't know who you are. And you can just, if you walk here, right, and then this guy starts backing off, you obviously know it's warded. But if you walk here and he still stays up and he even ease in like a total idiot, then you know it's not warded, and then you could just walk up and flank him. But since you pass this way, what you need to do is you need to flash immediately. You need to flash E him, and
ignite.
Yeah, just blow your entire load on him. So like he's gonna. This is wrong. He's gonna flash in like a couple seconds here, but basically, if you trade flash, your flash for his flash, he's gonna. That's good because you're the support and he's ADC, and your flash is worth less than his. So next time when the jungler ganks or something, or if you catch him out sometime, he won't have flash for the next escape, and then you'll be able to kill him. And you could possibly even kill him here. Like if you get the root off and ignite him, like he's pretty low already.
I see.
That's one of the things like I also struggled with is flashing. Tyler knows this. Sometimes you just gotta go pull the trigger, especially as a support, because supports we don't actually do the damage unless you're like, I mean Zyra does a lot of damage, but like most of the time you're not gonna be doing the most damage on your team. You're gonna be setting up CC for your ADC to like destroy them afterward, or your mid laner.
Okay.
Like I watched, you watch pro support players, they're always making plays by flashing, and they don't really care about their own lives. It's just that if they can manage to create a good fight and their team can clean up afterward, that's all that really matters. Look at this. Okay, that's really good. Okay, what happened here? So right here, the same thing. You know Ezreal just back because he's really low. So he has to go back. And Lux is mid. So you gotta hard shove this wave into the turret. So now since you didn't help Jin shove, you can see that the minions aren't under the turret anymore. Whereas if you had pushed the minions faster, they would have all like died to the turret before Ezreal could even come back. So he would have missed those CS. But now since it's stuck here, it's gonna it's gonna slow push back towards you. And what that means, you're gonna miss a lot of the CS right here. Like yeah, you're getting ganked right now, but you can just count the number of CS that the blue minions die. So already the 3 melees have already died, and you weren't able to get any of the XP or gold. And now this cannon's gonna die. A bunch of other these casters are gonna die. See, they're gonna slow push in return because they don't need to. They already know that the wave is good for them.
Shut down.
And then when they slow push this wave to your turret, then they could get turret damage on your turret and get turret plates. If you just look at the minion wave, it's like visualizing the actual what happens in the wave. Also, did you back or not?
No, I didn't, because I saw I saw the action in mid, and then I saw Lux go up, and I thought I could make a play, but I couldn't.
Yeah, like here, I don't. Why didn't you back? I just don't. Like you're just basically you're just standing around doing nothing. So yeah.
I think I didn't. Wait, why didn't? It was because I wanted to finish up the support item. I think I remember this,
Okay. Yeah.
and I wanted to get the words.
That is a good thing. That's a good thing to keep in mind, but like sometimes you can't be
I waste a
greedy.
lot of
It's
time.
basically being greedy.
Yeah.
Like that is the ideal situation where you get that back and get a bunch of wards, but if it's not possible, then you can't. And this is also a reason, like because you didn't play up in lane in the beginning, you weren't actually getting gold from your support item.
Yeah.
Whereas, yeah, Lux already has her completed because she was playing up and like trying to get some harass.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't actually need to even make that decision if you had played the early lane differently.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of the same thing. Obviously, BB-sama should not be face checking the bush, but you are also positioned way behind her. So if she's walking up, you gotta walk up with her.
Okay.
If she's being like, because then you could at least try to save her. Whereas in this position, you couldn't even like throw a single ability to help her. Like even your presence there would be enough because like if you just threaten with the possibility, also here you're way too far back. So if you look at
What was I
this,
doing? I forget what I was doing.
unless you were like lagging or something, but
I
like
think I was lagging, but I forget exactly what happened.
basically you didn't get any XP for all these minions, and at least you
Yeah,
could
I think
stand in
I
XP range.
backed up because I like realized I was lagging.
Okay. But that's like you would back up in this situation if you knew that they were gonna dive you. But since Graves is bot side, they can't really dive you, or else they will get destroyed by the turret. And there is wards here, so we knew Sejuani was top side. So there's no they can't dive you 2v1 because if you ult them right or E them, they'll be stuck under the turret and then they'll die to the turret.
Okay.
But I don't know if you're just lagging or not. But that's also like a thing to consider when you're playing bot lane. This is fine because you're BB-sama face check the bush again. So if your ADC is running it, you could sack the entire lane and just start roaming.
Okay.
And this more applies to solo queue, but like, so say they push up this wave, and oh, he's doing a Rift Herald play. Yeah, so here you pretty much just have to back off. You're screwed if they. Oh wow. Okay, that was pretty lucky binding. Wait, did he have... Oh yeah, he had vision, but like... So there... So the first thing you can notice is that you can the game pings for you where the Rift Herald is being summoned. So there's
Yeah.
this massive ping here. So now you know that they're gonna be, and this turret right here, the Rift Herald, kills 2 turret plates exactly, pretty much. So now that this turret's at 2 turret plates, it's gonna die if the Rift Herald charges onto it. So
Okay.
you need to be like running the fuck away, basically. See, this turret died.
Red team's turret has been
Um,
destroyed.
Yeah, that's basically it. Because as soon as this turret dies, even if the turret didn't die, it would still be a 3v1, and they could just dive you anyway.
Yeah.
So basically, you just need to concede at that point.
Blue team has slain the dragon.
I mean, you are pretty far, but like walking this way is a little bit questionable.
Turret plating will fall soon.
Okay, so now that your bot turret fell, the most likely situation is that their bot lane is going to rotate mid. And why do people do this? Well, without this turret here, there's no reason for, there's no there's no objective here essentially. The objective, the next most important objective is going to be the mid turret, which is like,
Yeah.
this is a, if this mid turret falls, then you lose a lot of vision here and priority. So what people usually do is they rotate their dual lane mid so that they will have 2 people hitting the turret, and then their solo laners, which usually have TP or are better in 1v1 situations, will go bot, and they could farm from a, so like basically top lane usually has champions that can run away pretty easily because their lane is so long and they're by themselves, they don't have a support. Mid lane is a little bit different. It depends on the champion, but either way, they could always send their their top lane bot if they have like a non-safe mid laner. But so now
Summoner has disconnected.
you're gonna move mid to counteract that, and Jin's gonna push this wave and then follow you, and then your mid lane's gonna go bot because, and this is the, if you don't do that and say you let Fizz 2v1 in the mid lane where you guys are 2v1ing bot lane, eventually what's going to happen is you're going to trade the bot turret for the mid turret. But the bot turret is much less worth than the mid turret because the mid turret is in the center of the map. It controls a lot more of the space around the objectives. And you're basically not you're not gaining anything. You're just losing. You're still like trading 1-for-1, and the turrets, you're not even trading 1-for-1 because the turrets are different value. So basically, what you're forced to do is you have to defend the mid turret, which is why this pretty much happens every when this happens. So as you can see, Ezreal and Lux are
Has reconnected.
trolling and going back bot. But so you can actually push this wave right here. If you look at the map state, you see that your mid laner has backed. That means it's free reign. Let me just move these around. That means it's free reign for you to take a CS. So he is never going to be able to, unless he has teleport, right? He's never going to be able to come here and get, these minions are going to die before he comes here. So that means who's going to take the minions? And might as well be you, right? So you could just hard shove this wave in, and also cast his backing, right? So no one can stop you from shoving this wave in. No one can like stand here and freeze it. And you can get a free 6 minions essentially. And then these minions will hit the turret and they'll just die turret and no one will collect them unless someone comes, which looks like the enemy team is not responding. Like usually the jungler might come and soak up the XP, but since they're all back, this would have actually been a +6 minion advantage. But since instead you just leave it, you get like a 3 CS which is
Yeah.
okay. You left the minion wave in the middle, which is fine, because now the minion wave will stay in the middle, but you could have gotten a couple more and denied a couple more as well. So here I think James is pinging that he wants to gank.
Yeah.
So when a gank happens, it's up to the laners to start off the fight, not the ganker or the jungler most of the time.
Okay.
Why is this? Because if the jungler shows up, or like say Fizz shows up on this vision, obviously these guys are going to start running away, and then you guys won't. Guys can chase them, but like they're gonna already start to be running. But if you fight them 2v2, they won't run away. They're gonna have to fight, or else they're gonna either. Well, they could be pussies and run away too, but if they fight you, then the jungler can come in and just flank them easily because they won't be running away. They'll be concentrating on you.
Yeah.
So right here, even if say you go in, right, and then they burst you, they'll still be stuck at this position, and they would have used everything on you. So then it's, even though it's still a 2v2, and you would also have chunked them, right? You wouldn't just have to go down dying without a fight. So they would have been a bit chunked from your abilities. Say, okay, so for example, this situation, you literally just flash in, and just Lux immediately binds you, but you get your E, Q, ult off, and ignite.
Okay.
So you've done a decent amount of damage, but now they've blown. Lux has QE'd you, and Ezreal has like used all his abilities on you as well. So now Fizz comes in with all his abilities, and Jhin comes in with all his abilities, and Jhin can follow up really easily as well. And then they'll easily be able to get the 2-for-1 trade at least. So that's also okay. Well, this TP came in, so if the TP comes in, then there's nothing really you can do about it. That's something you also you should try to keep track of, but it's definitely hard. So, but if you see a TP and you're still able to back out, you should just be backing out, which is what you did. So.
Okay.
Because now they burned a TP for they got nothing in return. They have 3 people bought, right? But you also have 3 people bought, and there's not even a turret here for them to take. So, or dragon. So basically, in that situation, even if you killed yourself just to start the fight, you still win a 2v1. And since you're the support, it doesn't really matter if you die and lose XP, because you're not going to be the one to do the carrying in the team fights with the damage.
Got you.
Yeah, that's just a mechanical misplay, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, just take a look at this. Did you see how long it took for this binding to cross this distance?
Yeah, I could have walked to the side.
Yeah. It also might be like your camera is not on Lux, or like not in the middle of the screen, like right here. It might have been like over here, so you couldn't actually see her. Well.
Yeah.
Speed this up.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Okay, so I mean, okay, so this. Oops.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Like, you're coming down here, try to stop their push, but you channel your E when you're all the way back here, and you're not even close to them. So what you just did is you just wasted your E, and now you don't have it for when, for example, Sion can CC someone.
Yeah.
So rather than just going for like a Hail Mary, like hoping they walk up, you should just be saving it and looking for someone else to set you up.
Okay.
Or like a better opportunity, essentially. Oh, I think you just lagged out here. Yeah. I was like, damn, we're gonna win this fight. Hell yeah, brother. Oh, that's just unlucky.
A summoner has disconnected.
Let's see. Right now, you've reconnected, and first thing you're gonna do is assess the map state and where you should be. So
Okay.
we see Fizz is taking the bot wave by himself.
Mhm.
He can just do that. We have 3 people mid, so they're trying to take the turret, and Sion's charging in, and so is Graves gonna try to stop him. So what you should be doing is just let Fizz take these minions. He's gonna rotate afterward, and you and Jin both should be running mid and trying to save the turret if that's possible. And because look, there's nothing top lane either. These minions are way too far up, so like anyone who would get these, first of all, would have to walk all the way here from mid lane, which is the closest person right now. And then by that time, the lane would be pushed here. But like, there's nothing to do here right now, at least. And
Mhm.
so you want to go mid, stop them from pushing, and then someone, probably the top laner, should come up here to catch the wave at around here before it hits the turret and get dies to the turret and no one collects the XP. But you as a support, you should just be staying to where most people are, where most of the people are,
Yeah.
so that you equalize the fights. Because if their support is there and you're not, you're making it a disadvantage.
Okay.
Now Sion's gonna move top because he sees this wave is slow pushing into the turret, and if no one goes there, the minions will die. Whereas currently you can now reassess the situation. So you've just stopped the mid push. You don't know where anyone is. You see Fizz has bot priority, kind of. He has. If you go there, he will probably help you. Jin is.
Mhm.
Jin should be staying mid to just collect the because they're gonna push, and then he can just collect the wave. But and then you could just let him do that because he'll be safe. The mid lane's the safest because it's the shortest distance to turret, and so you can move down to Dragon, which you know is coming up in. Uh,
1 minute.
where the fuck is the Dragon timer? Fuck. I should also turn off. I should turn Fog of War on. Where did all my shit go? Oh, there you go. Found it. Dragon's in 1 minute. Holy shit! How do I get the shit back? Oh, there you go. Okay. So you know Dragon's up in 1 minute.
Yeah.
So, but you warded. Okay, the Baron ward is. Okay, no, the Baron ward's not fine because Baron's not spawning yet. The Rift Herald ward is okay. But then this pink ward is gonna do absolutely nothing because no one's gonna be there because the next objective is Dragon. That's gonna be on the map.
Okay.
So what you should have done is you should have put the pink ward like somewhere here, like literally anywhere here would have been better than it here.
Okay.
You know, you could have even put it like right in the middle of the fucking lane. It would have been better because there's also a common ward spot. That's like pretty much like right here or here, depending on which side you're on. This allows you to see anyone who's like crossing this area, which so it's actually an underrated ward that not many low elo people use.
Okay.
So now, because let's go back. So right after they've lost or they stop pushing mid, you should be pressing tab and then looking at when drag spawn. Drag spawn was like 120 at this point. And then Rift Herald, I mean Rift Herald is spawning, but like you can just put one ward down over there.
Yeah.
So you can just the best thing in this situation would probably just to be Ward Dragon. Because if you can trade Dragon for Rift Herald if you wanted, and that would be a fine play. But now, since you warded this, you need to at least start running to Dragon immediately, and not ward there as well. And then,
Okay.
or you could have just went to Drag, and after doing that, right? After doing the mid play, the most obvious thing that people do is they're gonna just back off, and like reset. So you're actually pretty safe walking into this area by yourself. Especially, and you could also like tell Fizz to come with you, and you know Fizz is in the area, and so is Jin, kind of. So it's actually pretty safe for you to walk here, and you have a ward here, so you'll see anyone that comes through this river part, and see what Lux doing. Lux got here before you, so now she's clearing vision for herself and getting vision for her team,
Yeah.
and setting up her drag. Right now, you don't have any wards left anyway for Dragon. So now we were basically forced to walk in here blind. Right here, what should we be looking at is, okay, so now it's a 4v5, right? We're just trying to take drag and leave as fast as we can. You don't need to help damage the dragon. You just need to zone people off of it so that they don't engage. Because even though it's a 4v5, right? You guys have low health, or it's a 3v5 actually. But Ezreal and Cassiopeia are both full HP, and they still have Sejuani still alive, so she can tank. So, and then you're really low, Sion's really low, Fizz is pretty low. So it's not actually going to be like a completely winning fight if they get a good initiation and their carries can DPS from the back. So what you need to do is you could look for the fight and bait them in, but that's pretty risky. Instead, you could just throw a bunch of plants here, like as a barricade, and then they would be nothing. So look, this plant, he's fucked. He can't approach because the plant is OP. So right there, I want to see if you had W. Okay, you didn't have W, so that's fine. But, let's go back a little bit. Okay, so Sedge steals it, and then here, look at, yeah, you're waiting for your CDs. You generally don't want to just W randomly. You want to W only when you Q or E, right? Because you can W as you're Qing or Eing, and then the cast time will make it so that it spawns a plant. I mean, this is pretty good. You kited her well. That was a good dodge, and then you kind of bait her into the plant, and then you walk back down so that your teammates can body block for you. That was good. And right here, what should you be doing? Are you there?
Yeah.
What should you be doing?
I should be backing right away because everyone's dead.
Yes. There you go, you did it back. Did you have a control ward in your inventory the entire time? I think you did.
Yeah. I was gonna ward behind the pit, but then I think you guys told me not to because they could catch me out like that.
What do you mean behind the pit? Here?
Like behind the pit,
Here?
like while we were doing dragon.
Yeah. that's risky since you're so low. Like one ability could probably kill you.
Yeah.
But what you could have done instead was just put a ward in the dragon pit, like right here, and it would have confirmed that there was no vision here. But what I think you thought was since you placed this vision ward here and it got no value, you're kind of like, okay, I'm not gonna waste 75 gold by putting another one. But this is actually worthless. So by
Yeah.
it's already like doomed for that. So like you have to pretty much sacrifice it, and your bad play, like you have to accept that you made a bad play and try to salvage it as best as you can. And at the end of the day, it's 75 gold. Like it's not that big of a deal. Whereas the vision that with that denial of vision might have swung the team fight in some sort of way. You never know. Okay, so the next. So what do you think you should be doing here?
I think at the time I wanted to go mid, but then I decided to go help Bibi Sama in case like she got caught out
Okay, so
and like try to get bot turret. But I forget what I did in this moment.
yeah, okay, so that's what you probably would have done if you're like in this scenario again, because you don't know what happened. But if you look at the wave here, it's pushing. It's gonna be pushing towards the enemy team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
once Bibi Sama kills these 3 minions, she can't walk up any further because she's gonna die, right?
Yeah.
So what you even if you come here, you both are gonna die then because their team could be anywhere. You don't know where they are. So you going there doesn't actually help her. So what she needed to do, you basically needed like if she dies in this position, it's not your fault if you're not there. You have to learn when it's not your fault and it's the brainless ADC's fault. And sometimes they're gonna they're gonna troll and just like push until they die, but there's nothing you can really do about that. If you were there, you would also die. So basically here you should be trying to get some wards like around the mid area / Baron, because that's when the next fight is gonna break out.
All right.
Nothing's gonna happen in bot lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't go bot, but like that, I paused it there to see what she would say in that position, and that means she would think of going bot, which is that's not the correct play, when she actually did do the right play. So yeah, you could just at this point you could just follow your jungler, because now you're gonna essentially have 2 people like ganking everywhere. And look, Jin's perfectly fine by himself. There's 5 mid, so there's no way Jin can die.
Yeah.
So you need to be mid in order to defend. Because in a 4v5, it's still like they get 1 mid turret, but this is actually bad macro for them. Do you know why?
No.
Like they're sending 5 mid. Well, the reason why is because they're gonna get this turret and they probably got like a wave of minions. But if Jin stays here, he can get solo XP for this wave, and then Sion can get solo XP for this wave. So what they've done is they've shared 1 wave of its 5 people, whereas you guys have gotten the same wave. You're gonna get the same wave with these 3 people after they leave, and then these 2 guys are getting solo XP. So they've lost a net like a lot.
Okay.
So even though they got a turret, they're not gonna be able to push the second turret because you can wave clear. Well, it's different because usually the mid laner has the most wave clear, but Fizz has shit wave clear. But Graves and you yourself also have pretty good wave clear, so you could probably clear these minions and not lose the second turret, and then your team on the rest of the map will be gaining a lot more.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, actually this Lux is like kind of good. I don't really know why. I kept getting hit by her bindings too. Pretty sure she was scripting. That's the only reason. The only explanation. I mean... What happened? Okay.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Yeah, so like, I mean, here, I was waiting for Silent to ult, I think, and he didn't. So I was like, I need to start something myself, and then you walked up with me, and you essentially died for that, because Lux was able to catch you. But yeah, so there's nothing you can really do there. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it, honestly. So, let me watch this. Okay, now you're back on the map. This is good. So, as soon as you respawn, you ran towards Baron. And Baron, first, there's a shit ton of wards here already, so you don't need to ward it for now. Second of all,
Okay.
there's no dragon, so there's no reason to be for anyone to be here. And then third, the Baron is the most important objective in the game. So, and even though it's only just spawned, people think that Baron is like kind of a hard thing to kill, but it's really not. It's only about twice as strong as one dragon, so it's like killing 2 dragons at 20 minutes.
Okay.
And especially depending on the champions you have, Cassiopeia and Ezreal can both kill it pretty fast. So, yeah, they could sneak it if you don't ward it properly. So this is good. This is pretty good pink ward as well. It just sees a lot, and they're gonna, even if they remove it, right, you're gonna get value out of it no matter what. It's gonna see someone.
Yeah.
And that's really all you want. So what Lux was doing. Actually, I don't know what Lux is doing. But since what I would do in this situation was I would have died here, and then I would have ran towards here. So you know, since you died first in the team fight, you're gonna be the first one on the map. So you know you're safe to walk like anywhere you want, pretty much, for like a couple seconds at least. And then you could actually get like even a ward right here. So when it's a Infernal map, if you put a ward in any location here, it just sees basically every single intersection. So it's a really good ward. You can basically, what I'm saying is you can get deeper vision. So what you did was you only got the Baron and you got this ward right here. But what you could have done is, since you knew that you were the only person on the map, you could actually walk further down and get deeper vision. And also, right after that, so what you would do, like right now, what are you doing? You're basically like standing next to Jhin to say, helping he doesn't die, but Jhin can survive on his own if he plays correctly. So,
Okay.
what you could have done is put 3 wards down and a control ward, and then backed immediately, recharged all your wards, and then come back. And then, okay, Lux is now gonna come in. He's gonna clear as many wards as he can with his red trinket, but and then he's gonna place his wards down. But you're gonna already have an entire new set of wards, and a control ward, and a red trinket. So he's gonna put all his wards down, and then you're gonna clear them when you come back, and then put new wards down, and then he will basically have lost the vision ward right there.
Okay.
So especially in the late
basically,
game,
I need to back more and ward more wisely.
basically in the late game, the support's job is pretty much only vision.
Okay.
You don't really need to be with your ADC anymore, because they can sit in mid lane, which is the safest lane, and his teammates will usually you'll be pretty close to him anyway, and then you can ward for him anyway. So like he won't be in danger, but you need to be getting vision around the map, because otherwise you'd just be doing nothing.
Okay.
You're not going to be farming. There's only 3 lanes to farm, and there's one jungle to farm.
Yeah.
That's why you see in pro play why a bunch of supports are like really low level compared to their ADC. Even though they start in the same lane, they just literally just leave them. And also, like, if you give your ADC solo XP, it's actually better because now they're starting to scale and they need more levels to do more damage. Whereas you, with more levels, aren't going to be doing it much more damage. Well, Zyra is a bit different because she's in damage dealing support, but in general.
Okay.
Yeah, so a good idea right now would be, since like you could be too scared to go by yourself into the jungle, you can just walk with your jungler and then they'll basically body block for you, and then you guys can clear vision together because the jungler will also have a couple pink wards or have a red trinket at this point.
Okay.
You don't necessarily need to be walking by yourself. The only reason you were walking by yourself before was that you knew, since you died first, that you would be the first person back onto the map. But now, since everyone's back on the map, you can start. You can walk with your jungler instead.
Okay.
Fuck. So yeah, since you got chunked, you pretty much have to back here. Drag is gonna be in a minute or 26 seconds. So as long as there's at least like 20 seconds left, I would say you can still channel. As long as you've backed and there's 20 seconds left, you can probably make it, especially with home guard. So, but if it's less than 20 seconds, it's kind of iffy because you want to be there as soon as possible so you can set up wards. It's different for the ADC because they can go back and just do damage in the fight when the fight starts. But then you have to set up preemptively before the fight starts.
All right.
Right here, yeah, you saw them put a ward there, but you didn't put a control ward in the counter it. So basically,
I think like I am not aware that the control word cancels out their vision. Or like I wasn't. But yeah.
Wait, what did you think it did?
I thought it just revealed all the wards. I didn't know it canceled their wards.
Okay, well, it cancels their. So like, actually, if you say there's a control ward here, if you don't attack this ward, what they'll see is they'll see their own ward, they'll see your control ward, but they won't have any vision. Once you start attacking it, then they will get vision of the whole area because you're attacking it. Like that's the same thing as when you're in a bush and you attack someone, they can see inside the bush then.
Okay.
So it's sometimes better to actually just not attack the ward and let the vision ward just deny vision, because then they won't be able to see anything.
Okay.
So good, especially like if no one else does it, like no one else has a control ward. You should just, the best place to put a control ward is just in the pit. You want to put it like right about here so that it covers the entire thing, while it's also not being able to attack over the wall. So you put it over here, the range people can attack it over the wall, and that will basically like put a huge advantage for your jungler in the smite ward because they'll have vision of the objective, and the other people have to walk in for vision.
To remove it.
Well, just to see the dragon. Because if you have a vision ward, they literally can't see anything. Unless they have vision giving abilities, or they walk into vision range. Yeah, look, that was hack. That was a hack. That was a hack too. So same thing again. You're actually gonna be, so Lux and Cassiopeia are alive, but they have to back because they have. Let's see how much gold they have. Okay, Lux only has 500 gold, but Cats has a lot of gold, so they're probably gonna be backing. Lux probably won't back, but like that's just a 1v1 between you and Lux. So you guys,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, she could catch you out, but if you're just careful, it won't happen. Plus,
Okay.
you already have a couple wards here, so like you know she's not in this area at this current moment. So you can walk up pretty safely and get deeper vision. Like right here, this is really shallow vision. Like think about this. Think about it like this. When you place a ward, you want to see someone with it, or else it's not going to get any value. But who is going to come here from the enemy team at this current point? No one. That's right.
No one.
Unless they're stupid enough to try to take your like chickens for no reason. Because if they're here, anyone mid and top lane could just collapse on them immediately. So that's really dangerous for them. Whereas if you got some more deeper vision, like say in the river, then that would be a lot more helpful for your team because there's a higher chance of someone walking into the river right now because Baron's about to spawn.
Okay.
So yeah, this ward is pretty good. Okay, well, and then this is the other part of support where. So when you place wards, you want to find someone, and the same thing applies to your red trinket. When you are using your red trinket, you want to assess like where the enemy has been, and use it when it's the highest likelihood of finding a ward, or else you're just gonna waste it. So if you think back, you saw you had these two wards here that you didn't see anyone, and you haven't seen anyone on the map for like the past 30 seconds or so. How can there be a ward here? Because there's no one here. There's no one has been here in this area.
Yeah.
So basically you should just save it until you know that there is a not 100% necessarily, but like pretty high chance that there's going to be a ward. So for example, this would have been a good red trinket usage if you saw Lux path over here and leave. That means she's probably put a ward down somewhere, so then you could use it. But since here you haven't seen anyone, there's no way there could possibly be a ward here.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm mostly scared of getting caught out too much. I don't like know how to balance.
That just comes with experience. So, but the only way to get experience is to actually like limit test, pretty much. So like you have to walk up and like, if you die, then I mean you don't need a limit test in the Clash game, but for example in a normal game, it doesn't really have that many consequences. So you could walk up and if you die, then you know next time, okay, it's probably not a good idea to walk up that far. I should just walk. I should stay a little bit farther back. But if you still die and then you keep changing based on what the limit test.
Okay.
But you're not gonna ever know until you actually go to the limit.
All right.
And no one's gonna fault you if you say like, "Oh, I was just limit testing there." Like, okay, true. I'm limit testing when I feed too. So this is good. You're basically walking with the jungler. It's better to walk with a jungler than say stay with Jhin, because if you this is in Fog of War, whereas this they can see you because the minions are there. So now they don't know that two people are like in their side of the jungle, and they can get ambushed really easily if someone face checks improperly. Like there, what I was trying to do was, if you actually look at the blue vision, let's pause.
They couldn't see us.
If you actually stand right at this wall, they actually can't see you if they're standing here. Let's just look at this. Oh, she saw me fucking hit the fucking plant. But... And she also saw you with the red trinket, but if she walks up in red trinket range, then I can, like, I'm already close enough. But if you also stood there with me, we can like basically
Collapse on her.
collapse on her together. And that's probably like something that low elo players don't utilize enough, which is like knowing the limits of vision and where they can stand behind walls to still be out of sight.
Okay.
And that's not that too important, but it's just a thing to note. Switch back. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I called Baron here, and then fucking some catastrophe happens. When you're killing the Baron, you should be using the seeds for your Q, because the Q does more damage.
Okay.
That's just a small thing, though. Are you really? I think it's just because you're so far behind from DCing that so much damage. Oh no, we got the Baron. What the hell? Okay. Let's go back. Okay, so we just got Baron. Well, Jin is dead actually, so we're waiting for Jin to come back up before we push. Okay, so this is also fine. So you should just follow the jungler, or like go with the jungler and get vision together. Because if you get vision by yourself, that's way more riskier if you accidentally face check a bush.
Okay.
So yeah, once again, this ward, who's gonna be there in the next 3 minutes? The drag, yeah, you can say the dragon's about to spawn, but then you would have wards on this side of the map, not on your side of the map, because obviously you're gonna have vision here from just standing there. So here, right, instead of farming the mid lane wave, you should be giving that to your ADC and just staying with the jungler and trying to catch someone out. Like what I'm doing here is that I'm trying to just stand, like basically if they were stupid enough to walk by themselves into this bush, then they would just die if I stood there. And if they don't come, then there's nothing for me to do anyway, so I might as well just stand there. Since you went mid instead, first of all, you took XP from your Jin, which is not that bad. Take XP, especially when you're behind. But you also like pushed the wave and took some minions.
Okay.
Hell no, if my ADC was BB, I would just take the CS. Okay, never mind.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Okay, yeah. You still have 2 wards and a control ward in your inventory. And if you look at the rest of your team, Fizz is like all the way in here. And Sion and Graves are trying to get vision as well. Whereas you're standing behind Jin, where there's no danger really, because if Jin just stays on this side of the mid lane, he'll be close to his team. So if anyone comes here, he'll be just see him just run away.
Okay.
So you should be basically grouped with the rest of your team. Let Jin just stay by himself. Like, I think you're too worried about your ADC dying by themselves, and then they're gonna blame you. But that's actually not your fault if they die. And also, drag was spawning in like 1 second, so. Yeah, here. Okay, no, you're walking. Never mind. So like, say you were grouped with the team the whole time, like closer, you would have been like 5-10 seconds closer to them. As this fight started. So right now it's a 3v4, but had you been there, it would have been a 4v4 at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is more Zyre mechanics. You always want to plant, like make the plants first, and then grow them with your ult.
Okay.
You know your ult like makes the plants like big and strong.
Stronger.
Yeah. So like right now you just ulted. I mean, first of all, you only ulted Malphite, and so there is no really reason to ult in the first place. And second of all, you didn't put plants down first to make them like big.
Okay.
I think you just like saw that the team fight was happening, and he's like, I have to contribute something. But if you don't need to contribute, it's better not to contribute until you get a good opportunity. Because if you just instead of not did like 200 damage to Malphite and saved it for later, let's see what possibly could have happened. So now they're much more grouped up, and you could probably get a better ult at some point. Especially if they re-engage here. But right now, since you don't have your ult, you can't really do anything. Except put like a couple plants down. So like, basically, if you didn't need an ult in the first place, and your team wins the fight, then that's perfect, you know. But if you waste your ult and then your team actually did need it, then that's your fault.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is pretty interesting. So let me see where the fuck. Yeah, so if you look at the blue team, they just respawned.
Yeah.
Because remember, you died earlier than them.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone else on our team is already on halfway on the map. So what you could do right now is walk into either side. Well, since this side already has a bit of vision, you don't want to you can ignore that for now. And you can walk in their top side and probably put like a ward here. You can put it here. This one ward is pretty good. Like here, anywhere around here is good.
Okay.
Because you know that they're still stuck in base, and you can just check that by just pressing tab, and you'll see their death timers, and whether they're dead or not.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, yeah, you got these wards, but they could have been better. They could have been deeper, and which is always better. Yeah, so right here, like, you were here, so you could have put an award. You could have put a ward anywhere here if you wanted to, but you chose not to. Because you already had put 2 wards here, and you're like, okay, that's probably enough. And once again, this red trinket, there's no
Mm.
possible place that they could have saw a ward, which is why I didn't see anything. So right here is kind of similar in a way.
I took a CS.
No, you didn't take a CS. You're basically letting Scion be by himself in the front. Whereas if you just even if you're like right behind him here, it's a lot better because then you're at the same location, and you would be in range of Sejuani. Right now you're not in range of Sejuani because you're like a bit farther back, a couple hundred units back. So you want to play up with Scion because he's gonna protect you if they try to like they can't just run past him and try to kill you. And then if they do, you're gonna kill them because they're gonna be tanking your damage and Scion's damage at the same time.
Yeah. Okay.
But instead, you kind of just let him 2v1. Wish I need drinks of water. Yo, no one's did to stay hydrated when I actually needed water.
Dominating.
Look. Okay, so this is fine, I guess. Thing is, after Baron runs out, it's a lot harder to push. So, I mean, you probably still should have stayed, because your team hasn't back yet. So and let's see, like, oh.
I think you lagged out for me.
No, I stopped talking.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking. So right here, you backed with, well, let me see, with 800 gold and 1 ward. Whereas if you had stayed, like no one else on your team is backing yet, so that means they still want to push. Whether that's a right play or a wrong play, it doesn't matter because the team has already committed to it, so you gotta follow. But now, if you had stayed here, you could have probably saved Scion pretty easily, because if you just eat them, they would be stuck. And if you had to burn your ult too, that's fine, as long as Scion lives. And also you could have helped, like we would have turned on them anyway. So you would have been here to help with this as well. But now you spent all that time just walking down mid lane.
Yeah.
And you didn't even buy anything. You had 800 gold. You didn't spend any gold. You didn't spend a single gold.
Wait, I think I couldn't buy anything. I forget. I don't know what happened there.
Did you not get this Baron? How's it possible? Yeah, it's not.
Did you run out of wards, so you backed to get more wards?
No, she had 1 ward. She still had 1 ward. And a control ward. Okay, this time you bought a Banshee's Veil. I think you definitely could have bought an ability. I think it builds from a blasting one, so you just brain lagged. But yeah, this is all good. You see dragon spawning, you just follow the team there. Probably calling for it, but yeah, same thing. That putting this ward down would make it a lot easier. And I think you could still, like, look at the rest of your team here. Me and Scion are both at the back of the pit. but you're all the way back here. So if someone starts attacking us here, there's no way we can attack them back because we're short range characters. Whereas you, if you were standing like near us, you could throw some plants over the wall and start zoning them. And because if they just tank the plants damage, that will make the team fight. The more damage they take from those plants for free, the better our team fight winning chances are going to be. So
Okay.
the thing I would say is you need to realize when your team is around you, which, like, if you were by yourself, obviously you wouldn't go up by yourself. But since your team's around you, you can feel free to go farther up.
Yeah.
Which is, that's like, all these reasons are probably why you're not doing as much damage. It's because you're not in position most of the time to reciprocate damage in the first place. And then by the time you get there, the fight is already like pretty much over.
Okay.
Like either your team has already died and then you're gonna have to like 1v5, or their team is dead and you haven't contributed any damage to the fight.
Yeah.
This is fine. I would say if your team is pushing down mid, or any lane for that fact, it's up to the support to ward the flanks so that you don't get flanked. And then, so this is a good ward. You can also ward here, and you could also ward like here somewhere. Also putting a pink ward like right here, something I do a lot, because it covers like this entire area here, and people are gonna be trying to ward over this wall to get vision, and this is a wall that's really easily to like you can just stand behind and kill people. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a pretty good pink ward. This is interesting. Jin is doing our jungle. Oh no, he's moving. So actually here, do an advanced strat. Instead of pushing this wave, you can just let it slow push and not like just last hit the minions with auto attacks. And then what this does is it gives more time for the next minion wave to arrive before these ones start pushing towards their base, which is how you can build a bigger minion wave. It's called stacking waves. That's pretty advanced stuff, so I'm not gonna focus on that. Yeah, this control ward's a little bit int. Cause yeah, I showed you the other ward over here, which is it's not in a bush either. But this one doesn't really see that much because these walls block it. Whereas this one, it's like a whole arc that's available. Probably better place to put this control ward would be like even in this bush. Well, in the current game state, if you look at your team, they're all really, really far up. So putting a control ward here isn't going to help them.
Doesn't do anything. Yeah.
You want to put it as basically as deep as possible, as I said. Like even here would be good, right? Because then they're all huddled in their base right now. They're not even, if they leave, they might get just like killed. So if you put one like outside of their range, like around here or like here, anywhere around here, they can't put if they put a ward over this wall, it'll immediately lose vision.
Okay.
And also putting wards in their base is also good, because then they either have to clear it or they're gonna leave it up, and you can see them rotate from lane to lane.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a really well placed ult actually. You placed it so that none of it like overlap with the wall. It hit like most of the actual space that people could be.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
I think the game is done. It has to be done.
Yeah.
Blue team's inhibitor has been destroyed.
So
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
basically, this game, the major things are laning is. This also has to do with like laning, but you want to move up with your team essentially, and that
Okay.
includes in lane with your ADC. And that includes in team fights. It's probably the reason why you feel like you're not doing as much damage.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
Red team double kill.
And then the second thing is wards. You just need to think more about what your wards are accomplishing.
Has been destroyed.
You don't necessarily need to be like the best, place the best wards at every single moment. But as long as you think about it, the wards will be better than what you are doing right now.
Okay.
And then this game, since it was Clash and I was probably calling out a bunch of macro movements, your macro was pretty good most of the time. But in a solo queue game, I would be interested to see how your decisions would be.
Okay. Let me see if I can do it. But we probably shouldn't auto review that game today.
Ugh.